up guys, CJ got Kicks 89 here. I have an infotainment style video for you guys today, and I feel it's my responsibility to tell you about the difference between what I call a modern style Dunk SB, and because I only have the mids on me right now, my other dunk lows are somewhere else in this world, and just the older style Dunk SB that I grew up with. So the Dunk SB was initially just a regular dunk, constructed in a similar way to a regular dunk, except it had features that were catered towards skateboarding. First being a slightly more puffy tongue than your regular dunk, which has a much more thinner tongue. It has reinforced stitching and rougher materials, more durable and suited for skateboarding. And finally, it also had the first ever zoom insole. This is gonna be completely disgusting to look at because this dunk is from, when was this from? I think it's 2007. What is the, oh, it's from 2010, but there you go. So that's why this insole is essentially what it's crumbling everywhere. But this insole was initially what came in the Nike Dunks or Nike Dunk Pros, Dunk Low Pros, Dunk High, Dunk Mid Pros, whichever. But your Dunk Pros, which is a skateboarding dunk, came with this insole. It had this similar pattern, not many graphics back then. It had the pour-on insert in the front and the zoom air in the back, which, if you all know, is the main reason why people like myself, who grew up with Nike tech, who love tensile air, will buy Nike Dunks when we can, which is very rare and very hard to do in this modern day and age. But let's go to the basics, the reason why I'm doing this video. So it's just to educate you guys on the difference between this modern, between the old. So one of the first things that you must know is the style that the toe was constructed, because when you skateboard, you usually leave a lot of marks and you use up the front toe area of your shoe a whole lot. So the older style dunk, this one is not true to form, but it used to have very unfinished edges. But you can see this is actually like a turn and stitch style. But older dunks, I think, let's see, I think like the Genos, the Richard Mulders, the Stussies, used to have unfinished edges. My older dunk mid had an unfinished edge. But eventually they also adopted a turn and stitch style, which, hey, you're doing that now on your Excels. And you can see the same thing here. Turn and stitch style, and this basically helps with more durability when you're skateboarding. Obviously with a turn and stitch, you don't expose the material, the edge, the finishing of the material. Instead, what you're doing is you're adding just another layer of that. You're turning and stitching, so there's a little bit more that's holding the shoe together. And that is also the reason why at one point the skateboarding industry just loved a clean toe cap, just nothing on the tongue, because this would blow out and this would expose your shoe and whatnot. So that's the first difference, which is the construction of the toe cap. Secondly, and this is quite a non-noticeable difference, but on the inside of dunks, you can feel that there's not much stitching that goes directly onto the sidewall of the shoe. So I believe this is also the way that current dunks are constructed, because I feel my Argons were constructed this way. But Nike Dunks, when they reimagined it back in 2010 or something like that, or 2009, they had like this inner sleeve, or just basically another layer of material underneath all of that, which is already being stitched on, to basically alleviate hot spots from your shoe, so you wouldn't have that much chafing and whatnot. And this, let's just see, yeah, this was So I can sort of feel like this stitching is directly onto the inner side of the shoe, and it's just really bothering. If you're not wearing socks, it's gonna chafe and it's gonna lead to unpleasant things. So that's number two. Number two being that you have a inner sleeve at the forefoot that kind of alleviates hot spots. Thirdly is the heel notches on dunk lows, especially. This is not a feature that is on the modern dunk highs like the TV signals, but on lows you have this heel notch thing that was prominent on like Kobe's and also Jordans. I think the Way of Wades introduced this to Jordan lines, to the Jordan shoe line, and it's basically just this notch in the heel that sort of just, when you put your foot in, it's sort of like an anchor. It just prevents your foot or your that bulging part of your heel from slipping out, so that, because the idea of having a shoe just completely stick to your foot is you don't want to move around, and you basically want the shoe to be connected to your foot at all times, and that heel notch is very important for heel slip. You don't get heel slip. That's basically it. Another feature is dunks back in the day, if you notice, used to not have this flap, which is basically what in skateboarding we call lace savers. Historically back then, like the links, the way that it was constructed was you'd have lace holes and the lace would be on the insides of the shoe. This shoe also has damn, I don't know if you can see that, but basically there's a lace hole on the inside. So I used to like to do my dunks up like this. So there's no abrasion on the laces whatsoever. Longer skate life, you don't have to change your laces out as often. So that was another feature on the dunk highs, and I also believe that some lows had it too, but that's another feature of a modern dunk. This, talking about the lace flap, or this, let's just show this here. So this lace flap here just basically helps with alleviating abrasion, but historically dunks used to be connected here, much like the Argan dunk, which I don't know where I put right now, but basically it would just, the toe cap would just end up here, and then you'd have this layer just there, and basically you have nothing to sort of protect your lace. So that was a feature that Sandy Bodeker recommended to put on the dunk so that it would be more skateboard friendly. Not that it was not a skateboard shoe to begin with. Yes, it was a basketball shoe, but it was adopted into skateboarding way before we knew it. Another feature is, I think the most prominent one, is the midsole itself. So if you can see this, sorry, the midsole and the outsole. The midsole here is just your regular standard dunk midsole and outsole. So this outsole midsole is your old dunk with just the regular traction pattern and no cutout in between, but the modern dunks had a cutout in the midsole, outsole of the shoe, because historically the Nike dunk did not have a zoom air system, basically. So it had no Nike Air, which is why you don't call it a Nike Air dunk. All it had historically, the construction was just a rubber cup sole with a full length EVA midsole. So that's what you see here on the outsole. So this exposed part, for all of you newbies and young ones out there, the reason the exposed midsole is there is to help with compression. Much like how Boost, if it was encapsulated, it would not be able to reach its full potential. It won't be able to expand and eventually shrink back into its shape, which would help with the energy return. This helps with that, so it would sort of disperse energy. It gives leeway for the foam to kind of expand and retract, and that coupled with the zoom air in the midsole, in the heel of the insole, and also the Poron insert on the forefoot just adds with better shock protection or impact absorption for the dunk, which is also the reason why it's so skateboard friendly, aside from being one of the most hyped sneakers in the world right now. So I don't think I'm missing out on anything else except for Kevlar laces used to be used on the dunks. They would have Kevlar lettering. My dunks that had Kevlar laces got stolen, but that's cool. But they used to indicate here that it would have Kevlar within the laces itself. Doesn't do much, but it's the last piece of thing that's just like your laces just holding on to dear life just by that string of Kevlar within the laces itself. But I don't think that the current dunks of this generation come with Kevlar laces. If you do, please keep them. Very useful. So I think that's just essentially the main difference between the modern Dunk Low and the old dunks. I mean the modern dunks versus the old dunks. If there's anything that I may be missing, just highlight it and I'll probably make an update to this video, or I'll just correct me in the comment section. I'm just trying to learn as much as I can. I've been a fan of shoes since been, but TJ got Kicks 89. I hope this video was very, very helpful to you guys who are skateboarders who are trying to get into Nike SB Dunks and also any Nike SB products. And yeah, that's it. See you guys in the next one.